How's it, Gods of War fans? Welcome back to our next podcast. It's been a while, eh? It's been a while. The reason why it's been a while is we know it's COVID times and I had to go hide out for a couple of weeks. So we haven't had a chance to record. Myself and Terence couldn't get together. Luckily, it was all precautionary due to some exposure, but everybody's healthy, everybody's good. Those who've had it has made a full recovery. And we're back. Yeah, we are. We're back.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've missed quite a lot. We missed the Franz Ngannou fight, which is a bit old news, so we're not going to get into that. I think the thing we should start off was the Usman Masvidal fight.
Yeah, look, I was like a bear with a sore paw after that. I mean,
big Masvidal fan.
I'm a big Masvidal fan. Yeah. You see, maybe, and it's just personal preference. I think at the end of the day, Kamaru Usman used to be known as Marty Usman. And his parents immigrated to the States when he was, I think it was 18 months old, I stand to be corrected, or 2 years or 3 years, but very, very young. And he lived, went to school, went to college, wrestled at collegiate level, and he was known as Marty Usman. And, once, this is my interpretation, once fame struck, he found his African roots and suddenly became Kamaru Usman, which there's nothing that I've got nothing against, but don't change. Like, to me, it's irritating if they change halfway through. I think we're allowed to say, once the fame was there, he wanted to go back to the heritage. To me, it feels from an outsider looking in, he didn't hold on to his heritage from the day he left here. You know what I mean? He was Marty Usman, wrestled as Marty Usman.
Unlike Francois Ngannou, Francis Ngannou that goes back to Africa,
to
Cameroon, and go visit the elders and sit in the village and eat with them. And
I'm not saying the Usman thing is staged. I'm just saying, with a guy like Ngannou, he's true to his roots. He always has been. Everybody knows his story. Usman became very well known for his wrestling prowess under Marty Usman, and that's the whole thing that they were revving him about, saying, and even his own peers saying, you used to be Marty, now you suddenly Kamaru, which is like I say, nothing against the heritage, but hold on to your heritage all throughout your career. But that's just. And I mean, then you go to Masvidal, who slept in his car for 5 months with his dog, and he says nobody gave a fuck about him.
Yacht with a couple of chicks.
Yeah, well, I mean, life's good now, but but like true to his point, he's saying nobody gave a fuck about him then. So why must he give a fuck about what other people think? But 100%. Kudos to him. He got slept ugly. He got up, took it on the chin, and in the hug afterwards, he said, "Listen here, I take back everything I've said. You've got my number. You fucked me up. Congrats."
Look, I'm also a big Masvidal fan, but I called it on the night. I think that Kamaru Usman he's just a very great athlete. And,
absolutely.
And he lives, eats and sleeps in the gym, and he seems to still think that he's underrated, but I don't think he's underrated. I think everyone knows.
No, there's respect on his name.
There's always been respect. And he's called out Daniel Cormier for not calling the fights properly according to how he would like it. But I think he's a beast, and who's going to beat him? Who is left to
So
fight?
An interesting debate popped up. I think you and I briefly chatted about it, but also maybe you might not recall the entire conversation. So it popped up, and it was actually, I think it was Joe Rogan and DC that spoke about it, and they said, the question now is, does Usman go on to be the GOAT? Does he be the greatest of all time? Then they went and they said, if you look at stats, GSP, George St. Pierre, came, beat everybody in the division, got the belt, went quiet, came back, looped people, lapped them, started beating everybody again, got the belt again, over 2 weight classes. So go get the belt, go retire, take a few years off, come back, different weight class, run and lap through everybody again, win the title. Usman is used to be or beat everybody in the division, so there's the first tick. The second tick, he's now starting to lap people. In other words, he's now beaten Masvidal twice. The Colby Covington fight will happen. He'll probably end up, if he can beat him, he would have beaten him twice. Who's left in that division? He's starting to lap the guys, okay?
I remember the conversation now, but whether he goes upper weight division.
So whether he goes upper weight division. So that's the thing. He has to, at some point, prove that to be the greatest of all time, he'll either have to go up. I don't think he'll go up because he'll encounter another Nigerian in Adesanya.
Adesanya,
He's to my mind, too big a frame to cut down to lightweight. It's a big frame. It's a big frame. So to cut to under 70 with that frame will be very, very tough. So does he stick to the welterweight and becomes the welterweight GOAT? Or does he become the GOAT, the best the sport has ever seen? And that's the debate about Usman. I don't think there's ever been any disrespect on his name. The credentials are there. I just enjoy Masvidal's style a bit more than what I enjoy his.
Yeah. Look, when it comes to stylistically, Usman is a little bit more boring of a fighter. He grinds out wins, you know.
Or he sleeps you.
Which is proven now, you know. But again, and I think that's what caught Masvidal a little bit off, is complete change in his way of fighting, you know.
But here's the thing, we spoke about this in our debrief, and now we can mention it to all the fans. The threat of the takedown is worse than the takedown itself. 100%. When he got taken down in the first round, he actually made his way to the fence, used the cage to get up, managed to turn around and get out of it. So exactly what Masvidal said he was going to do leading up to everything. He basically said, listen, I know how he fought me the last time. If I get myself stuck in those situations, I'm not going to get pinned up against the fence and my feet stomped on. I'm not going to get pinned down to the ground and not escape. I've done and drilled that. But in the second round, he was so worried about the potential shot that he dropped his hands.
Well, I'm guilty there, because when I train with guys like Willie and things like that, when I used to train, I tend to keep my elbows a little bit down, because I want to keep that space in there, so I can
sprawl and get under.
I got the chance to actually push him away, and also what I saw in the fight was when Masvidal started throwing those leg kicks, Usman was just countering him straight back, and then countering him straight back again for the takedown. And I think, all those little factors led into a bit of doubt into Masvidal's mind.
No, absolutely. But you know what? Let's get back to the local stuff. We've kept the page updated while I was in quarantine and things like this. So basically, you guys would have seen all the updates with nationals. Big ups to the EP team under the tutelage of Barry Dean Duncan, Jason Hendricks, and Lauren Rudolph. Chris Bright, the team that went up there and supported the guys, took them up there, made the travel arrangements, and our guys competed. We won a few medals. But 2 of our athletes in the age group levels were picked. So big congratulations to Lisa and to Zishan, both from PESFA, I think. Lisa's from PESFA, both from PESFA. Brilliant stuff. Congrats on the results, guys. 2 from the EP team in the South African team on their way to Worlds. Big up and congrats.
Awesome. And also, let's not forget about thanking MMASA for putting this together.
Absolutely.
What a show they put on, Alpha MMA. Which put on an awesome show, streamed it live throughout the country for free.
Brilliant.
We always have this debate, who's our competition in PE. We've always looked at Alpha MMA. The first person to have noticed Alpha MMA was Martin, said, if we need to aspire to anybody, it's going to be them. And that was about 2 years ago.
That was a good few years ago. Like I say, you anchor on to the best.
So they've upped their game. I mean, with MMA scored all the way. If we have an event now, that is something we need to aspire to.
Absolutely.
So well done to Alpha MMA. We're very impressed with what they've done. And MMASA, Raymond Phillips, you guys did an awesome job.
Did a great job. And also from the promoters, we had a meeting thanks to MMASA for putting it together. All the promoters on a group. We are not seen as competition. That is merely just us speaking in general terms. We actually, all the promoters got involved and actually spoke to each other, and we're actually grabbing ideas from each other to build the sport. And welcome to Versus. I don't know how many of you watched it. We shared it as well. Versus is a brand new promotion that had Drickus du Plessis and Cameron Simon, who will also speak about just now as the commentators of the event. Very first event. The team that you guys are aware of, the Black Dragons from East London, they went up, they fought well. A lot of the CIT guys, a lot of Fight Fit Militia guys, Brothers in Arms with Conrad Siabi, who's also been at Gods of War, was there. Very, very high level fighting. It was literally the week after Nationals. So you saw Oaks with South African colours put it all on the line to fight guys that didn't make it at nationals, and it's almost like there was a bit of a point to prove. Like, can't I just bang the door open here for a seat on the plane to national to worlds?
Yeah, and also on the point of MMASA, we'll be doing a follow-up podcast. There's been a bit of controversy regarding the medical commission resigning in the MMA
with immediate effect.
MMASA with immediate effect. We've been keeping a close eye on it. We spoke to Raymond Phillips. We're going to be doing a follow-up podcast within a day or two, and also just get the point of view and try and see which direction this whole thing is going to go with MMASA.
Our job as Gods of War, when we bring it to you guys as the fans, there has been other podcasts that, to my opinion, and I think Terence will agree, and we're entitled to our opinion. This is our podcast. If they don't, like it, fuck off, don't watch this podcast. It's very simple. Some of the smaller podcasts has started picking sides, and you can see that there was definitely bias in how they brought the message across. We're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to say, this is the decision that was made. Why did MMASA make that decision? Why did Dr. Daniela Elisov and the medical board decided to resign immediately? Why could they not all sit around the table, and why could they not iron these things out? We'll highlight the problems, we'll highlight the solutions, because very early on in my professional career, I got told that don't always highlight the problems, highlight the solution. Everybody is aware of the problems, but how do we fix it? So rehashing problems, we'll set the scene. We will see who we can get involved from MMASA. We will see if we can get who we can get from the medical board, get them to sit around a table with Gods of War, so that we can get to the bottom of it, give you guys the impact, because the last thing that the sport needs now is negativity, bad press.
Publicity. If anyone a year ago, and Martin's my witness, and a year ago we were also in a bad space with MMASA, prior to Raymond Phillips taking over.
Yeah.
And for us, there's been a massive change. We're not blowing smoke up anyone's arse. Okay.
No.
There's been a massive shift in MMA in South Africa
since the regime change.
Yeah, since there's been a change from the old MMASA to the new MMA. I mean, we had a nationals that was worthy of praise,
and worthy of being called nationals. Properly set up and run.
We didn't even have an EP team last year.
No,
that went to nationals, and that was also due to internal politics in the province. But this year we all stood together. And we sent a team up, and we came back with medals. We came back with 2 people chosen to go to nationals.
Chose the world.
To worlds. And there's been a massive improvement. Is everything going to be 100% correct within the first year of someone taking over from the last year?
No,
never. But at the end of the day, we're going to start looking and picking apart all the negativity.
Yeah.
We could spend 20 podcasts on it.
Absolutely.
So what's the point? We all want to move forward. We all worried about our promotions. We're all trying to get it, and we're all worried about fighter safety. And there I have to come up for Ferdi Basson. When Ferdi gave us a course,
and all the officials that you guys see at Gods of War
that were on the course at Gods of War, he repeated about 100 times, if not more, about fighter safety.
Everything is about fighter safety.
So how he has been put in a negative light that he doesn't care about fighter safety is beyond me.
But you're getting excited.
So we're getting beyond that. But we'll sit down and have a follow-up podcast about that.
Absolutely, it will need to get done.
But it will get done. We're very excited to have it and to use our platform to get it out to the athletes.
Yeah, and I mean we've got a responsibility to be the mouthpiece to bring the message across accurately. Like I say. There was a podcast released on Ruckus Media that had Dr. Daniela Elisov on it, and that is one side of the story. We've spoken to Raymond Phillips from MMASA. That's the other side of the story. And like they say, there's always 3 sides to every story. The one side, the other, and then the truth. We will be exploring the truth option, or at least give the fighters and the fans an accurate sort of lay of the land and what our opinion is, because. To request something or for the medical board, but we shouldn't get sidetracked on this. But there's pros and cons to everything. We are a relatively new sport. There are serious injuries that happen. People can die in this sport the same way people can die in rugby or in motor racing. Certain sports and heavy physical sports has got risks. It's just the way we minimize it, but we must minimize the medical risks whilst marrying it with not losing athletes because of resources. So that sets the scene. I think we can move on from it. We'll definitely have a follow-up podcast.
I just got one point is that, we also have a responsibility to act responsible on our podcast and not say the wrong things and throw certain people under the bus, throw names out there. We also have that responsibility. Trust me, a lot of times Martin pulls me one side and tells me not to get too emotional, too involved in these conversations that happen around all over the place, and I'm a bit hot-headed. He's the handbrake, So, but the thing is, we also have a responsibility to the MMA community, to the athletes, and we also need to think what's going to benefit them the most. I mean, a lot of things, if we start pushing negativity out, our sponsors walk away. You know that. The first thing we lose is sponsorship.
Yep.
And that's where we get a little bit, or I get a little bit acid, is when I start losing sponsorship and people start putting the sport in a negative light. That a lot of people, not just us, I mean, it's very small in the business, but people around South Africa have put so much time and effort to build up the sport, and we have one or two bad podcasts that just destroy everything, especially now that the national team has been chosen looking for sponsorship. I think timing was just a little bit bad. That's my personal opinion.
But we'll get there.
We'll get onto that.
Welcome back, EFC. So
EFC 85,
EFC 85, it's happening this weekend. I've just opened it up here on the phone. Myself and T will speak about. I'm just going through the undercard here. I think it will be great to highlight some fights. The ladies, second fight of the night, that's going to be a good one between Vormerans and Niedmeyer. Niedmeyer just got her pro license. I think Vormerans has got one fight in her already. So keen to see ladies cutting their teeth so that we can start testing the champions and building them through. It's been a while since we've seen Bunmi Ojiboli. I see she's very active, training hard. Been a while since we've seen her on an EFC fight card. Well, COVID, but I mean, even before then, you know. Yeah. But the one that we need to look out for is, and we mentioned earlier that we'll speak about it, is the Cameron Simon versus Billy Oosthuizen fight. So, Billy Oosthuizen, high boxing pedigree, very high kickboxing pedigree. Coming off a bad loss, front kick onto the jaw, very bad KO loss.
The guy that kicked him out on the fight card.
Yeah, he's on the fight card as well. Yep. Fighting against Cameron Simon. Now, for those of you that we don't want to put the commentator's curse or the podcaster's curse on him, but Cameron Simon is definitely a talent of the future, one to watch. Cameron is an integral part of Dricus du Plessis' camp.
Yeah, and I think that exposure.
It's massive.
It's huge.
You're training with a UFC athlete. You're training with a double champ in EFC, double champ KSW, if I stand to be corrected, or he was definitely holding a belt at KSW. Got the call to go to the UFC, and Cameron Simon was part of his camp and was part of the trip and was in his corner at the UFC.
Where can you get better experience in it?
Better experience than that. So
Cameron, he's got a big hill to climb.
Cameron Simon has got a lot of expectations on him. He is the type of guy, cool as a cucumber, can rise to the occasion. So from my side, I think you've got two guys that's really going to bang there. Cameron Simon, all-rounder. He's good on the ground. He's got the jits. He's got the wrestling. They are, if you see the CIT teams and Dricus in them, they are big on strength and conditioning. Yeah. Their bodies are primed for the fighting industry. They train themselves accordingly. He's putting in the same. He was part of UFC camps. I think Billy Oosthuizen's got a tough night ahead of him.
Yeah, I was thinking so. I saw that front kick when he got knocked out by what's his name?
It was Chitamba.
Chitamba, knocked him out that front kick. It was very interesting. The first round, I think, went to him, but I think he blew his arms out. He stuck with the rear naked choke for too long. And I think, he got caught. He got caught very badly. But it was a perfect front snap.
Great Maigiri, Maigiri. All right, so local boy. I think that's our feature bout. That's our feature bout for the undercard.
Yeah.
Opening up the main card, PE hero, local boy, Sandile Manangela. Sandile, good luck. We are behind you all the way. Watch out for the front snap kick. Fighting against Chitamba.
I want to talk a bit about Sandile. he doesn't throw a bad front snap kick either, you know. I think I met Sandile the first time, 2009. I started the MMA gym in PE. He was one of the guys that trained at my gym. As those years, there were no fights really going around. He started, then moved into boxing at a good career in boxing, was dropping guys left, right, and center. Very good guy on the ground. His ground game is excellent.
Especially under Chris.
Before he went to Chris, he was good on the ground already. Sure. And also he's got a judo background. And and then of course he's by Pesper, Chris Bright. He can stand and bang. He can fight on the ground. He can wrestle. It's going to be a good fight.
I think so too. And I think there's plans with Sandile. I think that's obviously a bantamweight bout. Okay, I see it's lightweight, but this one to get Chitamba. But I think that Sandile wanted to get on a card. Sandile has made the cut to bantam. Okay, and I think if Sandile wins that, he has got to be next in line to beat the winner of the main fight of the night, and we'll somehow address it now then with Faiz Jacobs and Sylvester Chipfumbu.
Yes, I know they've chatted in the past with Faiz Jacobs. It'll be interesting to see who wins that fight though. Firstly, the Fighters Inc. team out of Fidar Idris, who's their head coach out in Cape Town, they've got a strong stable of fighters. They're not as necessarily as established, as well known as CIT or as Fight Fit Militia or Coach Kwan University, but they've got a strong stable of fighters. I think technically, Faiz is not necessarily the most technical fighter around, but he is wild and very, very aggressive, and he's not afraid to try something, which makes him very unorthodox to fight against. I think he puts a lot of pressure on a fighter, which is very intimidating. He's a very intimidating figure.
Forward fighter,
he seems
tall for bantam.
And he also seems to be not willing to eat a few shots to get what he wants.
Exactly. But he's fighting. It is intimidating. But he's fighting against Sylvester Chipfumbu. Now, you guys saw the podcast where we chatted to Temba Garimbo. They're part of the same team, same camp.
Good camp to come out of.
Good camp to come out with Tamar Penna. They're going to be there. I think it's going to be a great cracker of a fight. And then co-headlining the main card is the return of Boyd Allen versus Bruno Makulu. You and I spoke about it briefly before.
What an achievement to have.
So
I'll leave it to you to talk about it.
So Boyd Allen actually left MMA, I think 2-3 years ago. It could be 3 because COVID wiped out a year. Might even be more. And he went and focused on boxing, and he actually held a world title in boxing. He lost that title. There was a mistake in there with regards to, not a mistake, relatively weird officiating, because he was up and you're supposed to stick your hands out and move forward, and but anyway, there was a big thing about that. But Boyd is back in the EFC, back in MMA. He's always been a very, very good MMA fighter. Question mark over it now. With a focused career on boxing, obviously the ground game
suffered a bit,
might be slightly rusty. I'm not saying it is, might be, because it's not something that he would necessarily have focused on pursuing a boxing career. So is Boyd going to be the Boyd of old? I think he'll definitely look to try and outstrike with Bruno Makulu.
Let's hope he doesn't run away this time.
Bruno, the only fighter to be stopped for timidity is against Henry Fadipe. And then I'm willing to take the bet on the next one if you want to. I'm saying that Martin van Staden is going to win. If you want to back old Pity Thunder Coxon for that.
No. I was just watching. I was just watching some fights, and he pushed. We won't name drop. He pushed some fighters, and also seems to be wild, unpredictable, But his last fight he got knocked out.
He's lost a few in a row.
He tapped to a knockout. So I'm not going to put money on him.
Well, no, PT fights out of Ferdi's gym, you can never write them off. I mean, they're going to be. Let me put it this way. It's like the guys in the UFC. Daniel Cormier once again said, "You as a fighter, do not accept a fight unless you have spotted a weakness in somebody's game, knowing that you can beat him." So the fact that Pity took the fight and Ferdi as his head coach took the fight, it means that they are seeing a kink in the Van Staden armor. Okay, something that they believe they can attack, to come out victors. You don't walk in there to be a punching bag, to lose. Nobody walks in there to lose.
Well, I know one fight, but we won't mention it.
Yeah, we won't mention that. So now they'll go and they'll say, he's got an angle. This is what we're going to work at. This is what we're going to do. A guy like Martin van Staden, I think, said, I think it's on record saying, it's probably not going to be his most difficult fight, but he'll fight it, which is a very arrogant thing to say, but he's obviously very confident in his own ability. And coming out of Fight Fit Malaysia, where he's held the title, he lost it to what's that guy from the UK, Joe Sol Cummings. He lost to Cummings. That's how he lost his belt, but it was a massive journey for him to get to the top. He has been training hard, strong stable of fighters at Coach Kwan University. I see a heavy uphill battle for Pity.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I say,
think it's going to be tough.
yeah. Like I say, I watched a few of his fights. He also a bit wild, but he came to fight. He I must say he went in, put it all on the line.
Yeah.
And got caught a few times. But yeah, good luck to him.
Good luck to him.
It's going to be a difficult night.
I think you can never write somebody off. You and I know that you've always got that fighting chance. If you're in there, you've got a chance. But I think on paper, it's going to be a very, very tough night for Pity. And then the last fight, the middle fight of the main card is going to be Nkazimulu Zulu versus Fafa Dwama. And Zulu, I think, has definitely picked up his wrestling and ground game. I think that has been because he's training with Igor Cabeza. And
Cabeza, I must say that Dwama. Yeah, Dwama, yeah, Congolese boy.
Yeah.
He's also seems to be quite good at with the wrestling and grappling.
Yeah, so I'm saying if the ground game is going to be even, I would hate to strike with Zulu Boy.
Yeah, Zulu Boy is a good striker.
He's been at the UFC, picked up, I think if I remember correctly, picked up a win there. Came back. He is a prolific striker. So I think Zulu will try and keep it standing. I think Fafa will try to take him to the ground.
He's very strong on the ground. I mean, all the fights he's quite dominant. Good wrestling skill.
Yeah.
You struggle to also to shake him off.
It's going to be tough. Yeah. It's going to be tough. But you know what? One thing we need to say about the EFC is it's the first event back. So I'm sure there was a lot of hurdles to go through. So well done to Cairo, Graham. If this message gets to them, I think it's going to be a great show. I think that it's about time that we get some local stuff. Luckily, the UFC has been there. One has been there.
It's been tough times for all the promotions. It's been tough, and well done for bouncing back.
Well done for bouncing back. Hopefully, everybody makes it out strongly and survive. We're waiting to see if government restrictions can get lifted so we can get back to Gods of War as well. But in the meantime, we'll keep the podcast coming and keep watching for the follow-up. Terence will keep you guys posted on the page with when we can expect to have that podcast where we have
the board of MMASA
board of MMASA and the medical board or this now dissolved medical association of that was appointed by MMASA. And get everybody around the table and give you guys some feedback on that. It's going to be a hot topic. There was wild accusations thrown as well about what doctors do at EFC. That was mentioned on the podcast. But yeah, if you guys are enjoying the podcast, share it. Tell a few people to get involved. View it. And yeah, we look forward to bringing you the more closer, more meaty stuff in the next one when it comes to the medical association and how they were not disbanded, but dissolved.
All right, we all looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, good luck out there today.
Shot, guys.